interrupt this program for a severe weather update from your Storm Team 9.
Hello, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Eric and Kate here with you. It's about 3:48 a.m. Eastern Time, 2:48 a.m. Central Time. I'm in the Storm Team 9 Alert Center alongside meteorologist Dana Barker, and we are here with you because of severe weather coverage. We have that line of thunderstorms that we've been tracking for you throughout the course of Saturday night. Now here it is very, very early Sunday morning, and that line pushing into East Alabama. Warnings blanket the map here, all the way from Randolph County, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Macon, Bullitt counties, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. That's what we expected to happen. We knew this line of storms was going to pack a punch as it came in, but now a couple of tornado warnings. That's why we're here with you now. We want to first take you into Tallapoosa County. So we know this just outside of our coverage area. There is a tornado that at least a little while ago was briefly on the ground. So that's what happens when you get a long line of storms. You get those small spin-ups within that line, and sometimes you get those brief tornadoes. We've talked about that threat for a while. That storm now prompting the tornado warning. It's south of what we know as Ponders. That is a community there in Tallapoosa County. So there's where your storm is. That's the rotation. And again, you have to treat this like it's on the ground. We saw that little signature on the radar earlier. We call it a debris signature. So we know that this tornado on the ground, lofting debris into the atmosphere, and that's being picked up by the radar. So that's a great sign for us to say, hey, this is on the ground. Dana's got a good track on this thing for us, and you can see some times of arrival if you're out ahead of this thing. So Waverly, Alabama, 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. That's tracking almost due east, and that's going to pass into the very, very far northern part of Lee County and potentially southern Chambers County. Again, this is going to be right where Tallapoosa, Chambers, and Lee counties all kind of come together. I think that's the spot that may see this storm pass on through. And again, that's Highway 280 there, going north into Tallapoosa County, into Dadeville, eventually up into Alexander City. That's the line that you see right there. But again, these storms moving very quickly today, and these really, again, racing across the Chattahoochee Valley. So that's why we're here with you now. A storm that we believe, again, prompting a tornado warning possibly on the ground. And we have to continue to watch these things as we get you through the course of the next little bit. Another tornado warning just coming out from Macon County, Alabama. That includes Tuskegee. Now, this storm I think we've got to watch for you, because if that continues that track, that's going to impact other parts of Lee County. Perhaps Auburn, Opelika points south from there, maybe just south of Auburn and Opelika if that track holds true. But again, anywhere in that line, you're going to get some strong wind gusts. You're going to have winds capable of causing some damage, knocking down some trees, knocking down tree limbs. It really doesn't matter whether that threat comes with a spin-up tornado or with just a regular straight line wind. We want you to take that threat very seriously as we get through the course of the next little bit. But that's what we're looking at right now with that line of storms moving in to East Alabama. And again, the tornado risk, the tornado threat, a little higher with that storm coming through Tallapoosa County as we speak. Again, this thing is moving very, very quickly. All the storms today racing across the Chattahoochee Valley. It looks like we might have lost that tornado debris signature, but either way, we still want to treat this again very seriously. We know, again, these storms have had a history of producing these quick spin-ups here and there. Looking down to the south there, interesting wind signature maybe showing up there south of Shorter. That's, again, I believe what's prompting the other tornado warning. And there's
TDS for that one as well.
Yeah, right there. And that's, again, Shorter is right here. So that's Highway 80 passing through Macon County. This is the blue line that you see right there. That's Interstate 85. That is a tornado on the ground about to move toward Cross Keys here in Macon County. So this storm, if it continues that track, you can see some areas out ahead of that. And again, our system here is going to pick up on some of the smaller churches, some of the smaller historical sites that might be out ahead of this thing. But Tuskegee, I think you need to be in a safe place now if you're watching us there. And eventually, as we talk about, look, this thing is moving down the line. So Lee County here, and on this track, our friends in Beauregard are going to want to go ahead and think very seriously about going and seeking shelter from this storm that, again, is a tornado on the ground right now. Macon County, western parts of Macon County. You see some of the times of arrival there. Little Texas, 3:12. Wrights Crossroads, 3:19. And it looks like Beauregard around 3:24. That's, again, for around the high school. Remember, we say a name of a county, we say a name of a community. They extend across a large part of the county sometimes. So we just don't want you to mess around with this thing. Go ahead and get to that safe place as quick as you can. Dana, anything new coming from our friends with the National Weather Service? I know we're in constant communication with them.
Right.
They're issuing these warnings for us to get up here and talk about. So anything new that you're seeing back there?
Right, absolutely. Pretty much they saw what we just saw, that TDS near shore just south of there that we saw on radar in Macon County. They did say that tornado in Tallapoosa has dissipated, so they went ahead and got rid of that observed tornado. So if you take Max 2 real quick, and I'll show you those couple of polygons here, one on top of the other. And again, that polygon, if we go to Max 2 real quick, is for southeastern Tallapoosa County, northwestern corner of Lee County as well. And again, here's that one really for all of Macon County coming in here, and that's going to be for Tuskegee all the way to the Society Hill area and over to the Little Texas area that we talked about. And you can kind of see on radar, this is reflectivity right here, not really velocity, but you can kind of see, watch this little area right here. It's going to draw it out for you where we kind of got that little loop and kink in the lines, what we've been talking about here as these little circulations come on through. We have this, that's where we have this little rotation right about here, if we diagram it for you. And let's go on to velocity, and I'm pretty sure we still have it very pronounced on the ground, and we do. And let's take it over to CC, correlation coefficient, and a little bit noisy there, but that's out of Birmingham. Let me switch radar sources here to the one found in Maxwell, and there we go. Still got a pretty pronounced TDS, if you will, and again, that's over western parts of Macon County. And again, let me circle it for you right here, and it's going to be just to the south and east of the shorter area, and you get heading off toward the east-northeast, and these things are booking. They're going at highway speed, 65 miles an hour. So here's some of the arrival times, as we talked about, Little Texas around the 3:10 time frame, which means if we extrapolate that out, it's going to be over into parts of southwestern Lee County in the next probably 15, or actually around 4:15 Eastern time, 3:15 Central time. So that's going to be in the next 20 to 25 minutes is going to be over into the southwestern part of Lee County. So again, we have tornado warning parts of Macon County, an observed tornado. And again, let me take real quick, go back up to that one in Tallapoosa and see we still have that one on the ground here. As we move on up to the north here, got twin tornado warnings right now. And again, let me turn it to the velocity product to show what's going on there. And it looks like we've lost it, but again, a very small part of the world here in southeastern Tallapoosa County, extreme northwestern Lee. So again, if you got a weather radio and you're in Auburn, Opelika, Smith Station, it went off for a tornado warning, but it's only for the northwestern corner near Waverly. That's the important thing to know, these polygon-based warnings here. And if there is a tornado, it would be somewhere in this area, I would say right about here right now, just south of Camp Hill on Highway 280, heading over toward the Waverly area. DK?
Yeah, Dana, the good information there. And again, these storms, as you talked about booking it, we just saw the update on the warning, I believe, in Tallapoosa County, 70 miles per hour, a forward speed with these storms. So that is, again, incredibly quick. And you're not going to have a lot of time to react out ahead of this. So if we're calling out your name, if we're calling out your city name, your community name, your street name, now's the time to go ahead and go through that severe weather safety plan. Again, that is a small room, lowest floor of whatever building that you're in, near the center and away from windows. We, of course, do not recommend being in mobile homes, manufactured homes during these events. We want you out of those structures and in some other safer place nearby, whether that's a community shelter. I know Waverly, Alabama has a community shelter, for example. But again, we want you out of those structures and in a good, safe spot, but you don't have a lot of time to act to get there tonight. Now, again, a couple of circulations now showing up in Tallapoosa County. This is going to be very common with a line of storms. You're going to have little kinks along that line all the way down. One of them might show some really strong indications of a tornado. It might weaken, another one takes over. So it's good for us to kind of track the line as a whole. And Dana's done that here for us, and you can see going a little further into the future, out ahead of this thing. Auburn 309 Central, Opelika 314, West Point by 419. That's Eastern time, of course. Valley 420 Eastern time. LaGrange 424 Eastern time. So the storm moving very quickly again across East Alabama. And if you're out ahead of this thing, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead, maybe treat a severe thunderstorm warning as it were a tornado warning. Go ahead and move to that interior room until this thing passes you by, because there could be those little spin-ups along the way that we really want you to watch out for. And every time we see the radar sweep through here and update, it's almost like you see a lot of motion with where those storms were, where they're going next. And that's what we're out here talking about. Now, there's some lightning and thunder. These things probably going to wake you up. The good news is the threat isn't going to last for a very long time for any one spot. Once these storms get into your location, they're going to get out pretty quickly. That's the good news. We're not anticipating a big flood risk with these things. It's not going to be a threat that lasts deep into Sunday morning, but it is going to be a threat that is important for us to go ahead and make sure we are seeing seeking shelter if we can. Dana, tell you what, let's take that off. We'll go back to the reflectivity view. I want to show the radar view, but let's expand that out a bit, give everybody a big picture point of view here of what we're seeing. Because right now, again, we are approaching 4 a.m. Eastern time, 3 a.m. Central Time, and we are here with you in continuous severe weather coverage because of what you see here, a line of thunderstorms moving into East Alabama and moving very quickly into East Alabama. So if you're out here on the Georgia side of the river, LaGrange, Columbus, Harris County, down south from there, nothing happening just yet, but again, this line of storms is on the way, and we've got to watch it for you. Very intense line of storms prompting severe thunderstorm warnings all down the line, but we, of course, have those little spots here and there where we want to keep you up to date on any sort of tornado threat. And again, for Lee County, the tornado risk in the northern part of the county now, that storm in Macon County, I don't believe that warning has been extended over into Lee County just yet. If it does, that might be just south of downtown Auburn, south of downtown Opelika. It might be where you're kind of sandwiched in between those two storms, but either way, you want to be thinking about this. Again, like Dana said, your weather radio went off, woke you up. The WTVM weather app went off, woke you up. Now's that time to continue to keep an eye on things because you might have to quickly move shelter. Dana, what you got?
Yeah, warning's been canceled now for Tallapoosa and Lee counties. They've canceled that warning. And DK, I'm going to leave it to you right now. We do have that observed tornado warning still for the Tuskegee area. If we want to follow that one over to Society Hill, Little Texas, and keep our friends in Beauregard and Southern Lee County informed with that one. But again, the only game in town right now so far, tornado warning-wise, is that warning in Macon County.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what, let's look at it. And we're going to stay with it, too, because this thing, it's in Macon County now. Again, not technically our coverage area, but it has a high potential to impact the coverage area as it continues to move on. And because it's moving so fast, I don't want to bounce off TV and then have to come right back on in case this warning does get extended. But there it is, right on Highway 80. That's the part of the storm that's prompting this tornado warning. Again, observed tornado. We say it's a tornado on the ground. It's not possible. It's not if. This is a tornado on the ground, or at least it was. And we want to go ahead and treat it like it. Even if we don't have that signature showing up when we look on that radar view, we still want to, of course, show this the respect it deserves after knowing that, yeah, it was already on the ground. So here's the update on those times of arrival for you. Dana's drawn that track out here for us to the east and northeast. And you can see Beauregard community there, 324. That's about where the high school is. Again, Beauregard extends a little north, a little south, east, and west from there. So don't take these as the gospel truth. Use that as a guide. And that means, again, if you're hearing that right now, you need to be on the way to the safe place. You've got less than 20 minutes before those things move in, or that storm moves into your neck of the woods. And it's still showing a pretty good signature there on radar here, the velocity view. So what you're looking at now is the winds inside of that thunderstorm. So this is not really where the rain is falling, but these are where the winds are blowing inside that storm. There's the radar sweep there finishing up. So the green, that's wind blowing toward the radar. The reds and the oranges, the yellows there, that's the wind blowing away from the radar. And when those happen really close to one another, that tells us there's circulation. That tells us there's the possibility of a tornado. And we can use all those other radar products that we look at to determine, hey, maybe this thing's actually on the ground. We know this one was maybe right there, I would say, just to the east of the community of Liverpool, right there, Dana's circling that. That's where the tornado could possibly still be on the ground, causing damage, causing concern. That's tracking just south of Highway 80. So there's Highway 80, that little blue line right there that runs out of Tuskegee off there to Shorter, and that's the storm just south of Highway 80 as we speak, and that's going to cross north of Liberty Hill Church, eventually south of the city of Tuskegee, maybe south of downtown, but I would still not really play around with that thing. If I was anywhere around Tuskegee, I'd probably go ahead and get in a safe place. Eventually, Little Texas, another community there in Macon County. I'd want to be in my safe place right now and out ahead of that thing. And again, this does have the potential to get up into Lee County. No formal warning yet for southern Lee County, but that's certainly somewhere where we want you to really be thinking about what am I going to do in case this warning does get extended over into my neck of the woods. And there, again, is pretty quiet weather going on for a lot of Lee County, but it's about to get very stormy. It's about to get very noisy. And you see the radar sweep coming on? There it is. It's moved even further off to the east there. So that thing just south of downtown Tuskegee might not have a great signature of that on the correlation coefficient. We call this our debris detector. This is our way to tell if there's any tornadic debris up into the cloud, up into that storm. But again, well, there it is, still showing up a little bit right there. But that was kind of an older look to it. So our radar view updates little differently here. But anyway, we want to definitely make sure that we're treating this very seriously. The good news is there's your radar. So that's Maxwell Air Force Base radar site. That's getting a really good view at this storm. Remember, when we talk about radars and trying to figure out where these storms are, you want it to be as close as possible to the radar, because that means it's hitting these storms in the lowest possible level. That's where you get the tornadoes. That's where you get the stuff that impacts people down there close to the surface. And there's a new track on here for you. Again, not really looking at a lot of changes when it comes to these times, so things are moving pretty consistently. It's not really changing that speed very much, but it is moving fast. So if you're anywhere around those communities that you see there, we want you to be in a safe spot. Dana,
yeah, don't want to alarm you right there. I don't know why Seal's popping up on there, but Seal, you're not in danger of this tornado right here. So again, let's take a look at that. And again, I got a holistic view here. Looks like I got a new warning for, looks like Troup and Meriwether now in a tornado warning, DK. Let's go to that one real quick and show you that. I want to give you a holistic view along the line of where these times are going to be here. So again, let's take a look at that. So Auburn around the 3:10 Central Time frame. LaGrange around 4:20. Looks like you just got a tornado warning just to your north here in Troup County. We're going to diagram that for you in just a little bit. Columbus around 4:40. And again, plus or minus a few minutes here. Like Derek was saying, don't take this to the bank and take it as a gospel at 4:40. Don't be like wait until 4:39 to get in the shelter. You follow around 3:50 Central Time, Lumpkin around 5 a.m., Butler around 5:15 or so as this moves on off toward the east. And let me zoom on in now to that tornado warning in parts of Troup County. Looks like it's for southern Heard, northern Troup, so it's right along, looks like the Heard Troup County line. So it looks like it's going to go just the north of LaGrange proper, if you will. So that's a good thing there. Let's take a look at velocity and switch over to the velocity product, and there it is. We take warnings off, so that way we can just take a look at radar here. And let's change it to velocity, and then we'll change the radar site to the one out of Peachtree City. There we go. And that is a lot of noise. Let me see what I can do here to get the bearing straight here. But again, the warning goes for most of the southern part of Heard County, northern part of Troup County, and also the northern part of Chambers County. So let me just take where that storm is on radar. Let's assume it's on the ground, or assume it will be on the ground shortly, and diagram it out for you here. So let's take a look at radar, and we'll go to that and take a look at where this is headed here. Let's see, we got some lightning going on here. Let me take a look at the radar sites, as the radar is a little bit slow to load here on our MAX 2 system. So again, the warning goes for northern parts of Troup County here. So I'm gonna do this blind. I'm gonna do it without having radar, because radar's not coming up right now for me. But let me show you where that is and where some of the ETAs are. And the box was drawn a little bit south of due east. So this is the arrival time, some areas in northern Troup County. Now again, the Harrisonville area around 4:16 Eastern time, Hogansville 4:19, and then there we go. We have the radar graphic up right here. And again, here's where you can see it. Let me zoom in and take this out and show you where you can see that. And there's that little, talk about that little kink in the line. So if you go down the line here, and you come on down the line, you got a straight, and then you got a little S-shaped curve right here. This would be where your suspect rotation and possible tornado would be, right on the Heard Troup County line. It's going to move off to the east-southeast. Not going to be an issue for LaGrange, downtown LaGrange. If you are in downtown LaGrange, really, especially south of Highway 29, if you're south of Hogansville Road, if you're south of Davis Road, down that way, you're going to be okay from this. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the entirety of Troup County. So we're going to take a look at that right now. And again, we'll put the times back up here from that and move it on off toward the east-southeast here. And these are booking around 65, 70 miles an hour or so. And again, here's your times. Harrisonville around 4:15, a little bit after that. Hogansville around 4:20, and then it's out of our area into northern Meriwether County. And kind of how we treat Troup and Meriwether. Troup and Meriwether is actually the Atlanta television market. We cover all of Troup, and we cover really the northern half of Meriwether, or the southern half of Meriwether, I should say. So Manchester, Warm Springs. Once it gets to northern Meriwether, it'll be off to the Atlanta market. But anywhere in Troup, we're going to treat this and take care of our people here in Troup County. So again, it's heading on off toward the east-southeast around 65 miles an hour or so, and it's going to be into Hogansville area around 4:20, Harrisonville around 4:15. Derek?
Yeah, and that storm, the Weather Service in Peachtree City saying it actually prompted that tornado warning because there's a little cell out ahead of the line. It kind of got sucked up into the line there. It merged with the line, and that's where there was some brief spin that they thought, okay, we might have a storm that's prompting a tornado. That tornado warning down in Macon County is still in place, but the National Weather Service out of Birmingham saying a possibility that's probably dissipated by this point. The tornado may not be on the ground anymore, which is great news, but we still have to watch this carefully for you, because what you're going to notice as we progress through the morning here is we'll have these little popcorn tornado warnings almost. They'll pop up along the line. They'll be in effect for a brief period of time. You might have a tornado down on the ground for a brief period of time, and then that warning is going to go away. That tornado is going to weaken. That's a bit of good news in the sense that we're not having the possibility, we think, of these large, long track damaging type tornadoes like you might see in the springtime. But these can be just as dangerous for anywhere they impact because it's nighttime. Lots of folks are asleep. These things are going to be down on the ground for a brief period of time and back up, and then they might come back down again later on down the line. So we, again, don't want to discount that threat by saying maybe we don't have the big, large damaging tornadoes. Yes, that's good news, but we still have tornadoes, and they're still a problem for us. Anywhere along this line, I think that possibility is going to be there. You'll have some strong wind gusts regardless of whether you have a tornado or not. There are some very strong winds in the upper part of the atmosphere, and it doesn't take a lot of momentum to push those down to the ground. And you see the update there. So there was a blue outline around that tornado warning. That was telling us, hey, it's confirmed, it's on the ground. Now the National Weather Service is taking a better look at that thing, saying it's still indicated by radar. We still have circulation, probably not on the ground, but that doesn't change our preparation. That doesn't change our plan. We still want you to go ahead and be in a safe place out ahead of that thing. But again, we talked earlier about Beauregard, those communities in Lee County, south of Interstate 85, south of Auburn, south of downtown Opelika. Those are still places where you want to watch this very carefully. There is still a thunderstorm warning, in fact, in place for you, severe thunderstorm warning. So you might already be awake and aware when watching, but you really want to watch those little circulations there along the line. That's what we've got for you now in Macon County. And again, Dana was talking about the storm troop in Meriwether counties. That needs to be watched as well as that line continues to push on in. Tell you what, Dana, let's go over on Max 1. Let's go to maybe the radar view. We'll take a bigger picture view because we can already start to give you some all clears. That's the fantastic part about a storm system that's moving really quickly. Once it clears the area, we can go ahead and say, hey, that severe weather threat is over and all is well. So if you're looking at the radar view right now, if you are in Tallapoosa County, your severe weather threat just about over. I still think there's probably still some gusty winds going on. But the severe weather risk from a spin-up tornado, that's over for you right now. Randolph County, Alabama, same story. That line has cleared the area. Your threat is over. Parts of Chambers County, the severe weather risk is over in the western side of the county. But if you're in Lynette Valley, West Point, a heads up for you. Again, you're still in things for sure as that line starts to move in. And Dana's putting that on there for you. Yeah, look, we're all good. As you go east of that line of, or excuse me, west of that line of storms, we are all good. But if you're out ahead of this thing, that's where we still want to watch things very carefully for you. And we talked earlier about that storm in Troup and Meriwether counties. The storm system prompted a tornado warning because of one of these little showers out ahead of the line. I ran into a couple of these showers on the way in. These aren't severe, but as that line approaches and that shower kind of gets pulled into the line, that's where you get a brief maybe spin that happens. And that's where you sometimes get those tornadoes. And that little squiggly right there, that's a shower that is being pulled up into this line as it's pushing on through, and that's probably what prompted that tornado warning, that little kink that you see in the line there coming into LaGrange. And we'll put this into motion again so you can see what's been going on. This is out over the last hour or so, and you can see how quickly this has moved on. So these storms racing, as we've talked about, across the Chattahoochee Valley, and there again you see in Troup County what we're looking at. Downtown LaGrange, all is quiet for the moment, but that's about to change in a big way. Even though that tornado warning is just north maybe of the downtown area, it's still going to get pretty close to you. And again, all along that line, there's a potential for some strong wind gusts. So it's not a bad idea to be in that safe spot just for a little while longer. And Dana's drawn another track on here for you, getting some times out ahead of this thing. Hogansville there in the northern part of the county, 424. Looks like Lone Oak, 429. That's Eastern time again. And then over into Meriwether County, Gay, Georgia, 442. Looks like Molina, 447. So that's again out here on the eastern edge of Meriwether County, and really maybe even getting out of the county there. So that's the tornado warning that we're watching for you now. Troup and Meriwether counties, just north of downtown LaGrange, and this is north of Manchester, north of Warm Springs. This isn't impacting you at the moment, but remember, just about everybody is going to be impacted by thunderstorms as we progress through the morning hours here. And in fact, we could say almost everybody's going to be impacted by a severe thunderstorm warning. I really don't feel like they're going to stop issuing those as this line pushes in. So that tells us little pockets here and there along the line are going to have some damaging wind gust potential that we've got to keep an eye on for you. Dana, what you got?
Yeah, and quite apropos there, Derek, that you mentioned that new warning now from Muskogee County, southern Harris, southwestern Talbot, Chattahoochee and northern Stewart, that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 a.m. Eastern time. And actually, Peachtree City kind of beat Birmingham to the punch. So Russell County is not warned for a severe thunderstorm right now. So it's kind of the two offices here. Peachtree City giving us a lot of warning in Columbus. And again, we'll probably see a warning for Russell County here very shortly, if not in the next couple of minutes or so. Again, let's take Max 2 real quick, and I'll show you this new warning here. And then again, it's the orange polygon for southwestern or southern parts of Harris County, southwestern parts of Talbot County, all of Chattahoochee, and northwestern parts of Stewart County. And that goes until 5 a.m. Eastern time. And here's that orange polygon for you. And again, if you look, there's kind of a void here, right? So you have the tornado warning for Macon County, which will be allowed to expire. Talking to my friends at the Weather Service in Birmingham, they're not going to extend that for Lee County. And again, like Derek is saying, it's a, Beauregard, we know it's a very sensitive area there for 2019, so we take extreme care into issuing a tornado warning for that part of the world, and they're not going to issue one for southern Lee County. There's no indication of a tornado yet. However, there's still a warning for most of Lee County. That line right now is approaching the Opelika area and on up toward Lannetton Valley. It looks like it's right along, and there's that warning just right on time for Russell and Barber. So now a new warning for Russell and Barber, and we'll see what time the expiration time is on that. We click on it and query it, and that expiration time will be 4:30 a.m. Central Time with a tornado possible tag. So again, we're seeing these little spin-ups along that line, which means we could start seeing one or two little spin-up tornadoes here. Of course, we saw that one in Macon County, and actually was on the ground producing damage courtesy of that debris signature that we saw. Also saw the tornado in Tallapoosa County with a debris signature earlier, and of course we still have that warning now for Troup and Meriwether County. And I think Aaron's telling me we got the MAC. We had Walter out there in the MAC. I think you've been talking to him as well. Maybe DK, and see where he's at right now, and see if he's got anything that he's seeing in terms of damaging winds or high winds or any kind of damage or anything.
Yeah, Walter was in the MAC in 431 Chambers County a little earlier today, and he was in the path of that storm that was coming through Tallapoosa County. And right now, there's a live view. So that's the Mobile Alert Center right now. And Walter, if you can hear us, tell me where you are one more time. Gotcha. By the BP on Highway 280 there in the Opelika area. And again, you can see the rain's coming down here pretty good, and the sheets of rain there blowing through. And the winds are going to be really gusty with this thing. Again, there are going to be pockets here and there where you're going to have wind gusts of 40, 50, up to 60 miles per hour as this thing comes through. But that you see right there is the lightning flashing, the sheets of rain coming down, and some gusty winds in Lee County as the Mobile Alert Center on the road out in the path of these storms. Again, no formal tornado warning anymore up in that area, but still, it doesn't really matter, I think, with this thing. Whether it's a spin-up tornado, whether it's these straight-line winds, the damage can still be pretty rough. There you see some of the trees blowing around, the street sign there blowing around. You got some really gusty winds coming in there right now, and you see those flashes of lightning coming in. So hope Walter's, again, safe out there. Walter's a pro. He's been doing this for a long time with us out in the path of these storms. But you see the red light sign there just bending in that very strong wind. The good news is it's not going to last for long. These storms are going to blow in, blow out pretty quickly. So we encourage you to be safe when you're out there and about tonight, or this morning, I guess, for any reason. Hopefully, again, you don't have to have any plans to get out and about. Hopefully, you're going to be able to be inside, stay in there safe until this thing passes you by. It looks like that was some good news. Tornado watch was canceled for Tallapoosa County, so that is a bit of good news for us, as we just showed you a couple minutes ago, giving you the all clear for those places that have no other concern for you. I'll tell you what, let's go back over to Max 1 on the wall, and what I'll do is I'll step out here. Dana, let's pull up that tornado watch on Max 1 and when we get a chance here. So we'll pull up Max 1 on the weather wall, and we'll show you what we've got going on. So the watch itself is now in place for all of our counties. It doesn't matter where you are across the Chattahoochee Valley, a tornado watch in place into the early morning hours. But as soon as this line of storms moves through, that tornado watch is going to be canceled for your location. So that's some fantastic news that we've got coming your way. So there's the watch in place for everybody, with the exception of Tallapoosa County. That county was just canceled or cleared from the watch as that line is pushed on through. So again, there's your watch. And by the way, a little after 4 a.m. Eastern time, if you're still with us, or maybe you're just joining us, these storms moving into your area, they're waking you up. Yeah, we've been here for a little while, again, talking severe weather. That watch goes till 9 a.m. Eastern time. That threat is not going to last till 9. for most of us here. And Dana's drawing that line right there. That's the Chattahoochee River. Of course, the Alabama side of the river, threats going on for a little while longer. In fact, getting a new message here. Mr. Ben Stanfield, intense in Auburn right now. We're near the mall. So really strong winds coming in right now into Lee County, as expected with this line pushing on in. No formal tornado warning, but there is a severe thunderstorm warning out, and we encourage you tonight, might want to take those seriously as you would a tornado warning in some cases. Get into that small room. If you don't feel like maybe you've got a real well-built home, maybe there's some big trees nearby or something like that, spend some time in that safe place as this line of storms passes on through, and hopefully, again, nothing will happen. Maybe you'll have just some strong gusty winds, some heavy rain, and that's it. But every now and then, you get those little pockets here and there that have those intense winds that can cause some problems. Zane, what you got?
Yeah, let's take Max 2 real quick. I want to show the remnants of that Macon County storm. Still seeing some rotation though, so let's just keep an eye on this thing in the panhandle of Lee County right now. We're going to take a look at velocity and take a look at our radar. So again, not very tight rotation right now on radar, but there is a little bit of an indentation still in velocity, and we got to watch those little kinks in the line real quick here as we take Max 2 right now, and you watch that little kink right here. So again, I'm going to draw the line out and draw where it is. It's nice and smooth-ish as we go on in through, and there's a little indentation just north of Marvin. So 51 comes right about like so. Let me take that off. So 51 would be right about here. Marvin on down toward Russell County, and what we're kind of looking at is this little notch right here. Doesn't look to be suspect to be producing a tornado right now, and looking at velocity, it doesn't look very intense, or looks pretty innocuous right now. Let's take a look at velocity out of Maxwell Air Force Base. So that's what we got. So a little bit cluttered there on the radar. Let's take a look at another radar site. Not Peachtree City. Let's take a look at Fort Novacell. No. Birmingham. No, it's still kind of blocky. So again, this is the best shot we have of it. Not really concise in terms of any kind of rotation though, but if you are in Marvin, you are in Beauregard and off to the east here. So again, this is moving, it's about 65 miles an hour. So again, keep your eyes peeled if you are in near Dixie Elementary around 3:26 Central, and they observe Eastern time, so 4:26 Eastern. Crawford around 4:30, and then moving over to the Ladonia area about 4:35, 4:40. So right along that Highway 80 corridor, that seems to be a kind of a tornado mini alley, if you will. That Southern Lee, Northern Russell. I feel like we call that just about every time we have any kind of tornado threat that actually materializes here. So again, right along here, and we're going to circle where there is some weak rotation now. It's just past Marvin, just past 51, heading on out toward the extreme northern parts of Russell County here. Let me take a look real quick, if we can, at the Troup County circulation. And let's go over to Peachtree City here. So again, we flip over the velocity, flip over to FFC, which is out Peachtree City close by. And again, let's take a look, and looks like it's right to the, just like it's just to the west of Hogansville here, and it's staying in the northern extremity of the county. So LaGrange, you're still seeing some high winds. I'm sure LaGrange right now is rocking and rolling in terms of winds over there because that line is now through LaGrange. But as far as any kind of potential tornadic circulation, it's right along that kink there, just to the west of Hogansville. And we got looks like a little inset there. We've got the Mac with Walter, and that wind is blowing pretty hard there. Looks like he's on 280 still in Opelika, Columbus Parkway there. Another vehicle trying to, and power just went out as well. You see the traffic signals are out. So again, you know what to do if you have a traffic signal that's out. Treat it like a four-way stop and observe that, and make sure there's no other cars coming from the opposite direction or from the perpendicular direction, if you will. So again, going back to Max 2 here, and again, I'm going to circle where that potential rotation is. It's right over the Hogansville area, and it's about to be out of our quote-unquote viewing area. It's about to be out of our area responsibility into northwestern parts of Meriwether County. So again, let's take a holistic look at all of the radar and take a look at the warnings. I'm going to put the warnings on here as well. And again, here are your warnings. Again, the one warning for Macon County will be off the board here shortly. Actually, the rotation there is in Lee County. That's the one we've been watching near the Marvin area. And again, that warning for northern parts of Troup County and also northern parts of Meriwether County as well. So let me query that one real quick. That warning goes until, I believe, 4:45 Eastern time. So that one goes until 4:45. The tornado was located over Harrisonville, or a suspect tornado, suspect rotation, 10 miles southeast of Franklin, moving east at 60. These are moving at highway speeds, and they don't have to stop at red lights, and they don't have to get off at exits. So it's going 60 miles an hour on the line for parts of northern Meriwether County here. And again, let's go on down to the line here to all of the area. And again, we got a warning for Barber County, Russell County, basically the entire East Alabama area with the exception of northwestern Chambers under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, those blue areas on the Alabama side are potential for wind gusts of 70+ miles per hour in some of these storms. We had wind damage in Tallapoosa County confirmed. Of course, that confirmed tornado earlier near Shorter and Macon County via radar, and a wind gust 70 miles an hour in Montgomery as these storms pass. So again, these storms are packing a punch. Not everybody's going to see severe weather, but everybody's going to get some heavy rainfall, thunder, and lightning as well. As we take a look at Sanford Hall now, the alert center sky came over Auburn, and again, these storms are booking it to the east of 60 miles an hour plus. Derek?